What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode. This is episode number 16, and we're starting today's episode off on the back of our big win over Southampton in the FA Cup semi-final, 5-2 against Ralph Hasenhüttl's side. They battled back twice to level it after we took 2 leads, but Wilfried Zaha, 4 in the FA Cup semi-final. And I want to give you guys a question today, like a football dilemma if you will. Now obviously I'm a little bit too old to realise my dreams of one day playing Premier League football. I think that ship has sailed as I'm turning 30 in November. I can't see me pulling an Ian Wright and managing to make the Premier League in my 20s. But even so, I want to give you guys a football dilemma in today's episode. Now this is a type of video and a type of content I've kind of really thought about doing recently. I think it would be kind of fun doing like dilemmas, asking you guys questions, and really just trying to see how your minds work, you know, in terms of what the dream scenario would be for you, because dreams are of course subjective. Everyone has different ones, right? So obviously in that last game there, you know, Wilfried Zaha scored 4 goals, led us to the FA Cup final. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing. He's been one of our main players this year. 13 goals in 21 as he opens the scoring here in our first game against Southampton. But there's no doubt about it, Zaha's always had the quality. You know, Zaha's always had the talent. Even as a youngster, he got that big move to Manchester United. It never worked out, of course, but there's no reason why it couldn't have worked out, because the guy has got a lot of talent, as we know. He's always been linked to big moves, Wilfried Zaha. You know, even at Crystal Palace for all these years after coming back from Manchester United, every year he gets linked to someone, you know, be it an Arsenal, be it a Spurs or whoever. There's always linked to him going to play for a European side once again. And of course this year, as we know, the big possible move, it seems to have quietened down over the past few years, but there was a lot of talk that Roma might pull off a shock move for Wilfried Zaha and he'd go and play under Jose Mourinho. Of course they won the Europa Conference League last year. They're into the Europa League for this upcoming season. So, you know, Zaha's always had the quality to play at a European standard, I always feel, but he's opted to remain at Crystal Palace, and it seems as though at this point right now, I'm recording this commentary on the 24th of July, he's probably going to stay at Crystal Palace for another year. This is his final contract year, of course, and he'll be turning 30 midway through the season. So my question to you is this, right? If you are Wilfried Zaha, you're the equivalent of Wilfried Zaha, right? Now, you're playing for a team who you've spent absolutely, you know, well, most of your career, and you are not currently a favourite to win a major honour of any kind, be it domestically, and you're not playing in Europe either. You're like a mid-table type of team, the team you're playing for. But there's no doubt about it, you've got the quality to play in Europe. Now, would you rather stay at that club as the main man, perhaps take the captain's armband, you know, towards the later years of your career, or in your mid to late 20s, for example, stay at that club knowing there's a very good chance you might never win a major honour. In fact, for you to win a major honour, it would be considered a shock. But you stay at that club, you become one of the most capped players for that club. Not many players in the club's history have played more times than you. You might go and set the record for most appearances of that club. It's your boyhood club. You've got so many, you know, great memories of that club. You know, but you never win an honour. You never win an honour. It would always have been a shock for you to win an honour. You never win a major honour. You don't win an FA Cup. You don't win a Premier League or a La Liga or whatever, you know, country you're in. And you never play in Europe either. But you stay at that club. You win more caps than almost anyone, if anyone, for that club in the club's history as well. And you're regarded, when it's all said and done, when you hang your boots up, as one of the biggest club legends ever. Your name is etched alongside your club's biggest legends ever. Or when you're in your mid to late 20s and you realise your prime isn't going to last forever, and Lord knows I'm feeling that every time I go to the gym nowadays, almost 30, you realise your prime isn't going to be forever, your body's going to give way at some point. It happens to all of us. It will happen to me sooner rather than later, I'm sure, as well. Do you decide, with just a year or 2 left in your contract, after all the years of service at this club, that you're good enough to play in Europe, you're good enough to compete for major honours, and you try and engineer a move to a club, to a bigger club, that are going to fight for league titles, play European football year after year, and also domestic cups as well? You might not win many, but you'll probably win possibly 2 or 3, but you're not a starter there. You're not a starter. You go to that team and you go from being the main man at your boyhood club to a squad player. You go from being the first name on the team sheet, the man who, when your name is read out pre-game, the fans give you the loudest cheer of them all. You go from the man who's got so many chants about you, the lyrics to Dua Lipa's songs are constantly being changed and chopped to fit your name in, you know. You go from that scenario to now being a squad player who, you know, you might start the occasional midweek game, the occasional Europa League game, you know, your cup games, for example, but you're not a regular starter. You're normally on the bench, and you don't see anywhere close to as many minutes, and you're not regarded as close to as indispensable and as close as good as you were at your boyhood club, for example. But you're going to win like 2 or 3 major honours when it's all said and done, and you probably get a little bit more money, not much, but a little bit more money week after week as well. How do you see that? What do you do in that scenario? Because it's such a difficult one, and Wilfried Zaha is a great example of this, because he spent all his time playing with Crystal Palace. Obviously, you know, he came through the academy, then he went to Manchester United for a couple of years, and of course he didn't even play. Like, he literally didn't get any games there whatsoever. He obviously had a loan spell back at Crystal Palace, and I think he went to, was it Cardiff? Went to Cardiff for about half a year or a year as well, you know. But for the most part, he spent practically his entire career, you know, playing for Crystal Palace here, and there's no doubt about it. He's now been capped so many times with Ivory Coast as well. You know, the guy definitely, no doubt about it, as the years have gone by, could have potentially moved elsewhere and gone back to a bigger club. It might not have worked out at Manchester United, but he could have possibly become a squad player at an Arsenal, for example, or had it happened this year, maybe Roma, for example. You know, it could have happened. He might not be the club legend, you know, that one man, that one club legend, but he might have been able to go, and he still could, go to a bigger club and a European standard club, consistently playing European football, but he'll more likely be a squad player as opposed to being the first man on the team sheet where he is right now at Crystal Palace. So I guess you know, with what we're seeing, this save here with Wilfried Zaha and how he's kind of carrying me in so many games this year, I thought it would be a really great question to ask you guys. What would you prefer? What would you do? You are 28 years old, right? You're 28, 29 years old. You're around my age, you know, and you know that your time is not limitless. At some point, you are going to be at your peak, and not many clubs are going to want you. You know, that's just how it goes. Would you rather engineer a move, be a bench player for the most part, a role player, a squad player at, you know, a Chelsea, or I don't know, an Atletico Madrid, or a team of that standard, but you know, year after year, you're probably playing Champions League, if not then Europa League football. You know, you'll see some minutes, no doubt about it. You're going to be able to compete for major league titles and major cups as well. But you're a bench player. You know, you don't see that many minutes, or nowhere near as many minutes as you would had you stayed at your club. You know, you're not the first man on the team sheet. You're not regarded as indispensable. For example, you're scrutinised more heavily as well. But again, you got the chance of winning major honours. Or do you stay at that club with the dream of one day being able to bring a major honour to that club, even though it's highly unlikely it'll happen? You might get 1 or 2 cup finals in your career, and in those cup finals, you'll be the underdog, the big underdog as well. You're probably going to end up trophyless, but you are going to go down as one of the biggest club legends ever. It's such a tough call, isn't it? Because what do you value more? You know, do you value the respect? Do you value the love? Do you value the admiration, the years of service, knowing that you will be one of the biggest club legends of all time? Or are you just someone who wants to win? You know, you just want to win at all costs, even though you don't see as many minutes, even though you're more likely to be on the bench week after week. You would prefer to know that when it's all said and done, you might never go down as a club legend for any club you've played for. You might never be regarded as a club legend. You'll be not necessarily the forgotten man, but you'll rarely be discussed by fans of any club you've played for because you didn't stay long enough, for example, or you engineered a move and soured a relationship with the fans to go to a bigger team. But whilst you might not never be regarded as a club legend anywhere, or the most important player in those trophy wins, you will know when it's all said and done. You look on your mantelpiece, you got yourself a Europa League winners medal, an FA Cup, and 1 Premier League as well. What would you prefer? It's such a difficult question, but I want to throw it out to you guys, a football scenario. And by the way, if you want me to do more of these questions, I really want to do this kind of content. It's the summer. I'm thinking about experimenting with different types of videos. I'd love to do these kind of things where I throw these questions at you guys and see your thought patterns as well. What would you guys prefer? What kind of career would you rather have? Trophyless but a club legend with a mid-table side, or a role player with a big team after moving on from a boyhood club with maybe 1 or 2 major honours in your trophy cabinet? Let me know. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. I can't decide. I really can't. But that'll do it for today's episode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and we'll return in the very next episode with a one-game special. It's the penultimate episode of Season 1, and it is indeed the FA Cup final against Manchester City. Wilfried Zaha's got a chance to be a club legend and win a major honour. Let's see if I can do it with him. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Really Summer Career Mode FA Cup final against Manchester City very soon.